An unsettling change has come over Sharlayan, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the councillors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Sharlayan's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day. But now that I have had this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Oh no, we're going to have to read. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, but the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Gooball Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I dispatched Stola and Raha to help investigate those. Meanwhile, Alice and Alfino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Ah yes, what are the odds that the records on final days will be available to general public?
Probably 0.
Probably 0. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Oh, books. I wonder if they're gonna have us pull the Phoenix right and then try to go for loopholes or something.
Oh, also there's a lookout point in the library.
Oh yeah, I think I got that the last time I was here.
Oh, okay.
The title on the spine reads The Story of Sharlayan. Read the book? Yes. Long, long ago, on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rogadid man by the name of Njunkrep. Njunkrep was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Njunkrep's crew hauled them aboard its ark. But the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Njunkrep wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop the Abalathia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before the disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Njunkrep gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Sharlayan we live in to this day. Hooray! Lore! The title on the spine reads Roads of Old, the Colony.
What better way to give lore than literally just info dumping in books?
Exactly. Many years ago, on the banks of Thaliak in the Dravinian hinterlands, a Sharlayan colony once thrived. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Hey, that's Edelshire. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. Almost like convoy. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayan inhabitants, if impressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Edelshire. The following chapter is going to introduce the most prominent features of Edelshire. The book does not seem to appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of the Sharlayan motherland in greater detail. Ooh, that means I can read more books than required.
Yeah. Also, there's this little mammoth in a wig running around. It's adorable. It's like in a red jacket. It walked past me while I was reading one of them. I'm like, wait a second, is that a mammoth in a wig?
Oh yeah, the librarian. The one with the book, yeah?
No, he doesn't have, but the one I'm thinking of doesn't have a book. Oh, I see more now, yeah. But the one I'm talking about walked past me.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
I guess there's 3, it looks like I'm running around and looking. Also, when you read all 3, the irrelevant books are still available to read.
Oh, nice. The town on the spine reads the voice of a growing city. We might be here a while. I like reading things. In the years which followed the founding of Sharlayan, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst the peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum, as we know today, conceived and created. An introduction to the heavens. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws that govern the starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details on the Forum or mention the history of Sharlayan. You never know when we're going to go to space.
Next expansion?
I think we're going to go to space this expansion.
Maybe.
Forever 20 Summers. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night engrossed in philosophical study I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Though through mindful, healthy living, will you extend the time available to stand upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, atheological, and arcane viewpoint.
I need that bow.
Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Neokrep, founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading, with knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war, and with knowledge deliver the world. You gain the fundamental understanding of the Sharlayan history and the foundation of the forum. Head outside to the rendezvous point and wait your companions. Give me a sec, I think I have like 2 more books to read. Nope, just 1. Nope, that was it. That was the last book, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just go in a circle. Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphinote and Cryo should also be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mention the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphinote and I were to return to Sharlayan, we would not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position, and that of the Forum, will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day. I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Ah, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilsabad, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite of the island of Thavnair. The Allegans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship, brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allegan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Gallian rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for the most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amoedas. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family. The noble house the nobles of House Dawn is owned, though. That's a name I recognize. House Dawn has demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and a decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the last child born with the Allagan I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldasion, who had me registered as a Sharlayan citizen. I never even considered... forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisois, was he not? Stories of adopted wives and rescued orphans are more common among Sharlayans than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. It is exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation in which a citizen can be proud. Yeah. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Green. More company should be arriving any moment now. We've returned with our selections. Although I must say that pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Cryle has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which all barely made mention of them. As such, we'll be looking into the research papers on umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days come from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one who didn't witness the events of Almirad firsthand, and I fear I may be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now, where to begin? Well, first there was a giant Paolumu. First things first, what kind of a phenomenon did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion, meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Y'shtola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of final days? I think it was the second one? Keening sound from the land?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
The third might be funny. I should have done third.
Yeah, you can always go back, like, look the dialogues for the quest up and look it up. Like, the various outcomes.
Yeah, I know.
Ah, yes, the Amarotians spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course. thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually, it resounded all across the star, and not even Amaroth was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered a harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Numenon's mammoths, and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned Zodiark. Yes, with Elizabeth serving as his heart. So many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of final days. Lies sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls that they intended to render onto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venat and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they were doing with the towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Maybe they just want to crash the moon to the earth. Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech? Convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash. But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return to our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Y'shtola, but this time we began studying these research papers. Who are you calling an assistant? I'm the last, am I? Well, my extensive research of Archon stacks have produced one or two possibly useful books. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urian J learned of the source's reflections from the Girun oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Gubal library. It is even less likely that the knowledge of unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason then that my colleagues, be they Archons or Counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fortunault with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. I just came back from reading. You labor for what feels like an age as Y'shtola's research assistant. Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? More or less. And the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a man at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Ready for a tea break, Green? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables, and I'll treat you to the coffee. It's quite good. As long as someone gets me Archon, though. As busy as ever, I see. How very Sharlayan that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the foray. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Elsie is now accompanying you. Keep her at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Alice behind by entering a different area or by speaking with her and selecting the option to part ways. What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand it, sir. I was simply wondering if you knew of the foray. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear and... Wait, you're that House Leveilleur girl, aren't you? And this man with you is obviously a foreigner. I've heard you are disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I thank you to leave me be. I've not to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It was foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Green. Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the foray and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Leveilleur. My apologies, but I work in the office of the forum, and if word reached Master Fortunal that I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Yeah, can I have a triple espresso? Wait, is that Mistress Alice I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, owner of The Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and your master Alphino set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Leveilleur. No matter how discreet Master Fortunal may have been, news of your family's doing never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Sharlayan has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What? You mean like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. Was I here to find information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. Maybe there is. You're Mrs. Sharlayan, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. Just finished preparing a few orders. Strike us a friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? I've handled worse jobs. That's the spirit. Pay attention now and I'll explain where each of these dishes need to go. Tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. Omelette is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind him you should see a Mikote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. Okay, first we were a fishmonger and now we're a caterer.
The odd jobs of Final Fantasy. Gotta go wash the crocodile's laundry.
Yep. Is that a thing people say?
It's something Joe Cat, like I'm referencing Joe Cat's video.
Ah. What will you serve? The tea set. Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. Excuse me, man, have you heard about the apocalypse? Tell her for who? Sorry, never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practice of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off.
That multi-dish meal looks so good.
What's it sitting on top of?
That I'm not quite so sure. Like, I thought maybe it was like a weird dish warmer that's extra thick, but then the first, like, dude we tried talking to earlier that was an ass, they also have a briefcase looking thing without food on top, but it also doesn't have the little sections for the plates like that one does, so I don't know.
Maybe we'll find them in furnishings one day. Ah, finally. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. What? The Lofroy? Ah, yes. I remember seeing the name in the latest gazette. It had in some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Oven-baked lobster. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine! You have no idea how long I scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish.
Lobster was peasant food. Lobster was initially peasant's food.
Because it's just like something random you just catch in a river? Or...
I mean, it looks like bugs. It was literally found in mud. A lot of the New World foods, as in, like, here in the US, that were discovered, either discovered or just super common here, were seen as peasant foods. So, like, squashes, for example, pumpkins, those were turbo peasant food. And people here were severely looked down upon back in Europe for eating squashes, lobster, etc.
I heard in some cases they were treated like a novelty food, like potatoes.
Later on, but initially, no.
Initially, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Final days. This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off to his feet. Must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Sharlayan. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is most meticulous and a demanding profession. If these Telophoroi make good on their audacious threads, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. Never been this hectic before. Not like this. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get everyone talking? And they left no tips. Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, a cup of coffee, I promise. But let's enjoy ourselves somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Yes, they should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight. Oh boy, time to pick up some random gossip. Oh no, it's just heartfelt moment music.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Come again?
A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Great work, Detective Alice. Does this mean we have to swim again, or...
mean, there's water right in front of the library, so that.
Yeah. We should tell the others what we learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Numenon, and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Welcome back, Green. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats. But as they say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in the Gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Sharlayan observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Green and Alice learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the foray is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by duty of such a pressing importance, they've saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it is a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service of the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. I understand not everyone is the studious type. Consider this a welcome change of pace then. As for myself, there's a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help, thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take a lead, so stay close. Follow I say and try not to fall behind. Off we go then. Here we are. Through this door and downstairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go!